Picture this. You finally get a raise. For the first time in months, maybe even years, you feel like you're finally getting ahead. You celebrate a little. You upgrade your phone. Maybe you move into a nicer apartment. You start eating out a little more often because, well, you've earned it. A few months later, something strange happens. Despite making more money than ever before, your bank account doesn't look much different. So you ask yourself, where did it all go? If you've ever felt that way, you're not alone. Because here's something most people never realize. Being poor isn't just expensive because you have less money. It's expensive because poverty quietly charges you extra for almost everything. And those hidden costs can keep people stuck for years without them ever noticing. Today, we're going to uncover the hidden cost of being poor that almost nobody talks about, why it happens, and more importantly, how you can start escaping the cycle. My name is Jack, and I spend way too much time studying how money changes people's lives. If you enjoy learning simple ways to build wealth, make sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Let's start with a simple question. Imagine two people need a new pair of work shoes. One person has $200 in their bank account. The other has only $30. The first person buys a high-quality pair for $120. They last 5 years. The second person can only afford a cheap pair for $30. After 6 months, they're falling apart, so they buy another pair, then another, and another. 5 years later, they've spent far more money than the first person. This idea is sometimes called the boot theory. When you don't have enough money up front, you're often forced to buy the cheaper option, even though it costs much more over time. And shoes are just the beginning. Cheap appliances break faster, older cars need more repairs, budget electronics fail sooner, even low-quality furniture ends up costing more because it needs replacing again and again. Here's what most people don't realize. Being poor often means paying for the same thing multiple times. And that's only the first hidden cost. The second one is even bigger. Time. Money can buy convenience. Without money, almost everything takes longer. Maybe you have to take 2 buses instead of driving. Maybe you spend hours searching for discounts just to save a few dollars. Maybe you wait in long lines because cheap buses usually take more time. Every extra hour spent solving money problems is an hour you can't spend learning new skills, earning more income, or simply enjoying your life. And over years, that lost time becomes incredibly expensive. Now here's where the cycle becomes even more difficult to escape. Because money doesn't just affect your wallet, it affects your decisions. Think about this. Imagine your car suddenly needs a $900 repair. If you have an emergency fund, it's rating, but manageable. You pay the bill and move on. But if you don't have savings, the situation looks completely different. Maybe you put it on a credit card. Maybe you take out a high-interest loan. Maybe you delay the repair until the problem gets even worse. Suddenly, that $900 repair turns into a $2,000 problem. And this is exactly how financial stress compounds. Not because people make bad decisions, but because they don't always have good options. Here's what most people don't realize. When you're constantly worried about money, your brain changes the way it thinks. Researchers have found that financial stress consumes mental energy. Instead of focusing on long-term goals, your mind becomes obsessed with today's problems. How am I going to pay this bill? Can I afford groceries this week? What happens if another emergency comes up? When your brain is busy surviving, it's much harder to plan for the future. And that's one of the biggest hidden costs of being poor. It steals your attention. Now let's talk about credit. This is another visible expense that many people never notice. Imagine two people want to borrow money to buy the same car. One has an excellent credit score. The other has a poor credit score. The first person qualifies for a low interest rate. The second pays a much higher rate. At first, the monthly payment doesn't seem different. But over 5 or 6 years, the person with poor credit could end up paying thousands of dollars more for the exact same car, same vehicle, same destination. Very different cost. The same thing happens with mortgages, personal loans, even insurance in many places. Having less money today can make almost anything more expensive tomorrow. And that's why building wealth isn't only about earning more. It's also about reducing these hidden penalties. So how do you start breaking the cycle? Step 1. Build a small emergency fund. Notice I didn't say a huge emergency fund. Don't wait until you've saved 6 months of expenses before taking action. Even $500 or $1,000 can prevent a small emergency from becoming a financial disaster. That small cushion gives you something incredibly valuable. Options. Instead of relying on expensive debt, you have choices. Instead of panicking, you can solve the problem calmly. And sometimes that's the difference between moving forward and falling further behind. Start thinking about purchases in terms of total lifetime cost, not just today's price. When something is built to last, paying a little more upfront can actually save you money over the years. That doesn't mean buying the most expensive. It means looking for value instead of the lowest price. Sometimes the cheapest choice ends up being the most expensive one. Step 3. Invest in your earning ability. Here's something that rarely gets enough attention. The highest return investment you can make early in life is often yourself. Learning a valuable skill, earning a certification, improving your education, building a side income. These investments don't just increase your paycheck once. They can increase it for years. Imagine learning a skill that helps you earn an extra $500 every month. That's $6,000 a year. Over 5 years, that's $30,000 before even considering raises or promotions. Very few investments can match that kind of return. Step 4. Once you've built a financial cushion, let your money start working for you. Saving creates stability. Investing creates growth. Even small, consistent investments can become amazingly powerful over time thanks to compound growth. The important part isn't investing a huge amount. It's building the habit and staying consistent, because wealth is usually built slowly before it looks like it happened all at once. Let's put everything together. The hidden cost of being poor isn't just having less money. It's paying more for everyday life. It's replacing cheap products again and again. It's paying higher interest. It's losing valuable time. It's carrying the mental weight of constant financial stress. And those invisible costs at least slow down progress. But here's the good news. These costs aren't permanent. Every smart financial decision you make begins to reverse the cycle. A small emergency fund reduces expenses. A growing income creates more opportunities. Better financial habits reduce stress. Consistent investing builds long-term wealth. None of these changes happen overnight, but they don't have to. Because financial freedom isn't built through one perfect decision. It's built through hundreds of small decisions repeated over and over again. $1 saved, one unnecessary purchase avoided, one new skill learned, one investment made. Each one seems small on its own, but together they completely change your future. 5 years from now, you'll look back at the choices you make today. The question is, will those choices keep you trapped in the cycle, or will they help you finally break free?